You cook with love, it will taste delicious. You cook with anger, it will taste different.
On TV, when we see, culinary films, it's always, people shouting over each other in the kitchen.
We made this transition about a decade ago where I felt it doesn't benefit the food, screaming or shouting. It doesn't add flavor. What if we could take out all of the talking and make sure everybody knows exactly what to do at exactly the right time, with just one person controlling the tempo, much like an orchestra. I think nowadays in the Philippines, we have to really put emphasis on our local endemic and heirloom varieties of plants, grains more specifically. I think there has to be a high emphasis on preserving those for future generations. When somebody asks me, what does your restaurant specialize in? Nothing particularly. we do a lot.
So you eat fast food?
I do. I love it. Like us as chefs, we actually enjoy some of the most simplest food that we can possibly get, just because it's not what we cook on an everyday. We want that level of nostalgia when we're eating.
In all the different places you've lived, what was the most difficult place to cook in?
Without a doubt,
dishes together?
Here, because I'm still trying to crack it. I feel like you have to be a little bit mad to enjoy it. There has to be a screw loose there somewhere.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today, and for our friends who are watching and streaming us on YouTube and Facebook, I'm sure you can see the delectable spread in front of me right now. And for those of our friends who are listening on Spotify, allow me to describe it a bit. We have like 4 dishes here, plus a really yummy looking loaf of bread. I'm not very good in describing food and dishes, but we have very pretty dishes. I can see the colors, I can smell everything. Everything looks good, but my question is, sino ba ang nagluto nito? Who cooked all these?
I did.
Oh, chef.
Oh, I should say we did. I didn't do everything, and I have a wonderful team that works with me.
You all did, and I should have guessed because you're seated right beside me.
Indeed, indeed.
Thank you so much. Chef Josh Boutwood is with us today. Of course, Chef Josh is at the helm of restaurants like the Test Kitchen, Savage, and Helm, and corporate chef of the Bistro Group.
Right.
Chef, I know you're going to do a much better job at describing and explaining what's in front of us today.
Shall I give it a go?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I think we'll start explaining this one here, because this has become kind of like one of our signatures from the restaurant. This is a duck prosciutto on toast.
Okay.
So essentially we have this room over to our left where all of our cured meats are made from scratch. We have these beautiful French duck breasts that are cured in juniper berries, coriander seeds, all these wonderful spices. And after about 2 months, they're then sliced like jamon. And we obviously have a bakery at the same time, so we make brioche loaves, a little bit of garlic emulsion on there, some pickled carrots, some fresh cheese, and that's dusted in chive powder. So it's quite a lot of combinations going on there. But in its core, it's a very simple dish.
Okay. It doesn't sound simple, but it looks really yummy.
We like to complicate our lives to an extent, but then make it appear that it's quite simple to the guests.
Okay. So we start with that.
I think so.
Later.
This is probably one of our signature ones. We have over here our hamachi, so it's beautiful fish that we get from Japan, and this has been lightly cured. We pair it with a ponzu sauce, so lovely yuzu, citrus flavors, soy, mirin, a little bit of sugar in there, some oranges that are just made into segments, so that lovely citrus notes, and then we get garlic scapes. The long garlic scapes, yes. we pickle those out, so it has this wonderful, gentle allium flavor. And so it's a very fresh, bright dish to start a meal in Test Kitchen. Can't not talk about the sourdough. So naturally leavened, it's made of hard wheat flour, buckwheat, rye, water, salt, and then we ferment it for 3 days. That's the secret. I've just told every single viewer what our secret is. But that's what brings in this wonderful aroma and that texture that our bread has been known for many years. And here in Test Kitchen, so each of my restaurants have a different preparation for butter. In Test Kitchen, we have a lightly smoked butter.
Okay, lightly smoked.
Yeah.
Okay, looks whipped too.
Whipped as well. Yeah, so just get lovely air, and when you get those molecules of air connecting with the fats, the smoke adheres to it nice and gently. Rather than having it really robust, it's just a nice little hint of smoke at the end.
Okay.
From there, we can move over onto a sea bass, another mainstay of our menu here in Test Kitchen, and this is a beautiful Chilean sea bass that's been lightly seared. And then it's paired with an exo sauce that we make out of local dried seafoods. We use jibe, dilis, scallops from Hokkaido, serrano ham, and obviously it's going to be a little bit spicy at the same time. With a burnt cauliflower puree, it's going to bring a wonderful foundation flavor, and a sauce that's made out of the bones of the fish, very gently simmered into a very simple stock, and then finished with cream and that XO oil. And then over here, it's actually one of my favorite dishes here, and also one of my favorite cuts of meat. This is a bavette steak or a flank steak. This is marinated in some wonderful flavors, including very Korean inspired in essence, a little bit of kiwi in there as well. And it's very lightly grilled, and it's paired with kimchi that we turn into chips, a little bit of a gochujang mayo or emulsion, and then we have a jam that's made out of kimchi as well to bring in those wonderful sweet aromas to the beef.
That sounds like a really big fusion of different cuisines. I mean, I would have thought that, steak is very, American or European, but then you have Korean elements in that dish as well.
We do. So
Okay.
I very much like to take inspirations from multiple cultures rather than cuisines. So none of my restaurants pertain to any particular cuisine. They all share the love for different cultures around the world. And I feel like when somebody asks me, what does your restaurant specialize in? Nothing particularly. we do a lot. It's
So
very
if you
hard
do
to
a
pinpoint.
Google search of, let's say, test kitchen, it doesn't say it specializes in any particular cuisine.
I think because of algorithms, it probably says something like European cuisine,
Okay.
just for the argument's sake. But I find that would be the wrong interpretation because there's just so many different cuisines or cultures that we like
Yeah.
to dabble in and create dishes from.
In each and every dish,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yeah, so we've got a little bit of China over here, Korea over here, very French inspired over there, and almost Japanese over here. All without pertaining to that particular cuisine. Yeah, it's the beauty of my restaurants.
Everything looks so good, and I know, Chef, that you only eat like once a day.
I
but
do.
Would you care to indulge us
Most
today
definitely.
and have a bite while
For sure.
we talk? You know?
I was saying to you
I will,
earlier that I really don't like eating on camera, but today's an exception for you, Pia.
Thank you. Well, because sometimes you just can't eat as comfortably in front of the camera, right?
Yeah, even in front of guests, because when you cook for a living, sometimes the last thing that you think about is eating yourself because you're in front of food all day long. And food can sometimes turn into a little bit of a duty that you have to do to ensure that you have sustenance versus enjoyment because you
Yes.
see food all day long, you smell food, you're touching food. So when it comes to your personal sustenance, it is a necessity rather than a pleasure.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that's actually what I was going to ask you about, your cooking habits at home. But since you already mentioned it,
Yeah.
and this is actually one of your many homes.
Yes, indeed.
How often do you cook? I mean,
I-
and do you cook for yourself? Like
You-
like the one meal a day that you eat? Are you the
I
one
have
that- but
been.
Chef, please.
Ladies first. You're actually going to be using your
thank
fingers
you.
with this one.
All
here,
right,
okay.
it's okay. So I just take a bite like a pizza.
So exactly. Yes.
Okay.
So going back to your question,
Thank you from you.
I have become very good at cooking pot noodles at home.
Hot noodles?
Yeah.
Okay, so somebody who has restaurants like Test Kitchen or Savage, I mean,
Yeah.
we wouldn't expect you to be eating just hot noodles.
No, delivery apps are also a big friend of mine. The thing for me, cooking at home, it's very challenging to cook in my house, just because I'm
because-
not used to the kitchen size.
Because it's tinier than what you're used to.
Much smaller, yes. No commercial dishwasher, so that means I have to tidy up everything. And I'm also tired, especially when I get home from a very long day. That the most logical thing for me to do is to find the most easiest thing that I can eat before I sleep. And that could be a very simple toast, or it could be a pot noodle, as I was saying, or it could be an ordering from one of my many favorite fast food restaurants around the metro, out of pure pleasure, and just get some sleep after that.
So you eat fast food.
I do. I love it. Like people, when they see me with my restaurants and how they are, probably don't assume that us as chefs, we actually enjoy some of the most simplest food that we can possibly get, just
Alright.
because it's not what we cook on an everyday. We want that level of nostalgia when we're eating.
Okay, so let me see how fast food would compare to this and why you still eat fast food. Considering you have this at your disposal every day. Let me take a bite. This is the prosciutto, right?
Yep, the duck
Okay.
prosciutto.
Very yummy.
Salty, acidic, nice foundation flavor. I'm not very good about paying compliments to my own food, but just to get the flavors across to listeners as well as viewers, a lot of our dishes that we do are very much balanced on a triangle. So we pick 3 flavor combinations, or 3 ingredients, I should say. From those 3 ingredients, we pick the taste. So it could be acidity, salt, sugar, umami,
Yeah.
all of those. And then we balance it out in this triangle form. So that
So
I always
that's why
find
I'm tasting everything.
you're tasting everything, and
in
it's
this one
in
bite.
essence it's very much balanced. So that saltiness is balanced by the acidity, and you'll get a little bit of sweetness from our brioche that we've baked. And I find, when you use 3 different flavor combinations, it really does create a very balanced flavor profile.
You mentioned that you like to put all sorts of flavors, different touches of different cuisines in every dish. And I would guess that that's also because you've lived in different parts of the world ever since you were a kid. And some have actually described your lifestyle as nomadic in a sense because we know that you're part Filipino, but you weren't born here. You were born in the UK. Some of your younger years in Boracay, here in the Philippines, and then you moved back to Europe.
Yes.
Can you tell us what that was like?
So I was very young when we moved away from the Philippines. Well, Boracay in essence. I was 2 years old. Mum wanted me to have British education, along with my sibling. And we were in lower school in the UK. I don't remember living on the beach at a very young age, so I left at 2 years old, very hard to remember. But at the age of 7, we returned back to the Philippines, straight back to Boracay. My mum had a project there, and I didn't really enjoy it.
You did not enjoy it?
This is going to sound so bad, and I'm probably going to get the whole of Boracay cancelling me right now. But when you're
It's hard to imagine a kid who doesn't enjoy living by the beach.
Okay, nowadays it might be different, but back then, at 7 to 11, when I was there's no bowling alleys, there's no cinema.
Oh, okay.
And when you
this
grow up,
was Boracay from
this
way
was
back.
Boracay. Yes, this was pre-main road. You know, it was still a dirt track. I remember cycling up the mountain going towards Yapak, and you had to avoid the potholes because there was no cement roads or asphalt roads.
No mall.
Nothing. No.
Okay.
So it was a challenge growing up there because I knew my friends back in the UK and things like that were going to cinema dates and laser tags. Us in Boracay, we had the world's best beach, but we didn't have anything that correlated to our age at the time. So I felt like I was missing out on too much. Now when I look back at the age that I am so upset that I didn't take more advantage of swimming in the oceans back then. And yeah, so at the age of 11, we actually, Mum's project had finished, and then we moved to Spain.
Okay, and that's where you spent most of your
Most of my
young
former
adulthood.
education and young adulthood was done in Spain. And people say, oh, I bet the food was amazing. I'm at an age again when I didn't appreciate food. I appreciated partying and socialization. And I regret now, much like I regretted not taking advantage of the beach, I regret now not taking advantage of the amazing cuisine Spain had to offer. And that was interesting. So I was able to learn Spanish, obviously. We had a wonderful life in Spain. Yeah, it was really good.
So are there any Spanish influences in any of these dishes?
Surprisingly, no. I mean, it's terrible to say, but no.
But you have some dishes that do have Spanish flavors, not so much.
You know what? Not really.
Okay, it's time for you to open a Spanish cuisine restaurant.
I'm gonna do a Spanish restaurant next. Yeah. I think it's again going back. I never really appreciated food back then. I think my appreciation was more on partying and drinks versus actual
And
food.
the drinks.
Yeah, and the drinks. Yes. But maybe one day we'll do something more Spanish. Yes.
Okay, well, we look forward to that.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's so interesting to see how you've lived in so many different places. So you're half British, half Filipino, born in the UK, lived in the Philippines, and then lived in Spain. Where else have you lived?
I was in Scandinavia, was in Denmark and Sweden for just under 2 years, partly because of the cold winters.
Not a fan of the cold winters.
Not the biggest fan of cold winters because they're so long. And I find that life can become very depressing when you don't have much sunshine in your life.
Oh, okay. Especially if you're used to the sun here.
Exactly. And in Spain as well, full
Yeah.
of sunshine. So after just before the anniversary of our second year in Sweden, we decided to move back to the Philippines. We had our daughter at the time was 1 and a bit. And our romantic idea was to have her grow up like I grew up in the island. And we did that. We opened my first restaurant there, which was Restaurant Alchemy. And it was nice to be home with family again. And then in 2012, I was invited to Manila. And I fell in love with this city. The busyness, the traffic, everything, I just jived with it. and I never went back. And I've been, I've made Manila my home, and very content.
Oh, so you never lived anywhere other than Boracay when you were here in the Philippines?
Manila was
until
only a
2012?
stopover.
Oh, okay.
We would arrive from our international flight. We would probably stay one night. I would go and buy some CDs. Back then it was CDs, right? Buy some CDs at a record store, and then go to the domestic airport the following day to get a flight to Boracay. Never once did I live in Manila. And
Okay.
when I moved here in 2012, I actually had to learn how to cross the road, because it's a little
So
bit different
how
from
old
here.
were you in 2012?
Old enough to know how to cross a road, but
Okay.
it's a little bit different in Manila. And it was a little bit of a culture shock at first, moving here, because Spain was very country. The living in Boracay, obviously an island, Manila, a completely different location.
Okay.
So.
In all the different places you've lived, what was the most difficult place to cook in? I mean, in terms of like finding the ingredients that you wanted and putting everything together, putting menus together,
Without a
dishes
doubt,
together.
here.
Oh, okay. But
sure.
that's where you've been the longest.
It's because I'm still trying to crack it.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna try this while,
Yeah, please,
while you
please go ahead.
describe.
I feel, we are separated by so much water in the Philippines that logistics have been always a challenge, and it will always be a challenge. And we are blessed to have just 2 seasons in the Philippines, a dry and a wet. But within those seasons, there are micro seasons. So a good
yeah.
vegetable can only be available for perhaps 2 to 4 weeks of the year. So we have to be constantly on our toes, working with farmers, working with suppliers to ensure that we're able to get some of the best quality ingredients into the restaurants, because we want guests to have an amazing experience
Each time they come.
Each
yeah,
time they come.
naturally.
and get their values worth as well. And we still struggle, without a doubt. We have a lot more people that are helping us get ingredients from outside of the Philippines, from different countries. But also we want to share light on our local agricultural scene and farm scene. So we try and balance it as much as possible to get a 50-50 ratio. But at the end of the day, sometimes we have to prioritize the quality of the ingredient versus, the locality of it.
I mean, I understand the frustration. I mean, even like for a regular mom like me who tries to do the groceries on a regular basis, when you go to the grocery and then you can't find the right ingredients because it's either off season or the deliveries didn't come, it's so frustrating. So I can imagine how much more frustrating it would be to be doing that for a restaurant.
Yes.
Is this half local, half imported?
The XO is using predominantly local ingredients. Cauliflowers are all local; those are coming from Baguio. The sea bass is not local; we have to bring that in. And then so we use that tapioca crisp on top, which is going to have this wonderful texture.
Okay, I'm
Just
gonna
to
try
break
the
it through.
tapioca crisp. The tapioca crisp, where do you get it?
So we make it with sago, and then we season it with cuttlefish ink, and then they're dehydrated, and then they're fried for service.
Oh, yummy.
And it just adds that lovely little, almost like the fish skin texture.
And it tastes, I don't know if you get mad at me for saying this, but it
Go
kind of
ahead.
tastes like a really, really yummy cropek.
Yes, yes, yeah,
So that's okay. It's okay to say that.
that's completely fine.
You're described also as one of the things on your resume is corporate chef.
Yes.
What does it mean to be a corporate chef? And how is it different from being, a chef?
I think it's a great balance to be a corporate chef and a creative, because as a corporate chef you have to have you are in the confines of a particular imaginary box when it comes to your recipe development, your costing, and your pricing strategy. And the restaurants are large scale, so every little thing matters to the big picture. And it's been able to grant me this possibility of having a very structured mind and a very creative mind, or having a creative outlet feeds that creative side. So I have to switch hats once in a while, which is nice, because you don't want to be on the same path every single day, otherwise life becomes a little bit mundane. So having that opportunity where we're looking at spreadsheets all day long, and then the following day you're looking at wonderful ingredients that have just been delivered, really creates a sense of zen and balance in my life, which I don't think I would be who I am today without both of them currently in play.
Was it a big adjustment having to do the corporate stuff?
Yes.
I mean, because
Yes.
because you're used to being in the kitchen.
Exactly. but it's allowed me to have a lot of discipline, and not only does that side of a restaurant operations work for that side of the company, but it helps me on my own side as well, because you get to see opportunities from a business point of view that are beneficial in the long run, rather than being just creative and wanting to put out the world's best dish every single day. There has to be some limitations, for sustainability efforts, and also for a business at the end of the day, making sure that we have money on our staff are getting paid and there's roofs over their heads.
So, how did you become a corporate chef? That was in 2012?
2012. I was sitting on the beach one day, outside of my own restaurant in Boracay, enjoying the sunset, and I get a phone call out of the blue. And they said, would you mind coming up? We would like to invite you for an interview tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Wow. This is while you're watching the sunset.
Watching the sun was going down. It was literally on the cusp of the, going over the horizon. And I said, I don't think you know where I am, do you? And I explained where I was, and she said, I'll call you back. So a few moments later, I feel like it was a few moments, it was probably about an hour later, because it was already dark. I got a phone call. Is it okay if we send you a ticket and you fly up to Manila? And I had no idea what was going on at the point. But I spoke to my partner at the time, and she said, well, you've got nothing to lose. If they're paying for your ticket, why don't you go and see what they want? So I did. The next day I flew to Manila. I got checked into a hotel, went to the office, sat inside the office, and Paul Manood, our president, and myself, we sat eyes interlocking. And we're looking at each other, wondering why each other are there. I didn't know why I was here. He didn't remember why I was there, until suddenly it just clicked. And bearing in mind, I came from Boracay, so I had my bracelets on, my anklets on. I was probably wearing shorts and a t-shirt in a corporate office. So he was a bit shocked. But we hit it off straight away. There was great chemistry between us. And he explained what he wanted to happen, and to infuse new ideas into the menus. And it was very interesting. I was intrigued by it because it was a project that I had never encountered before, and I thought this was a great challenge for me to challenge myself, which is always the mission. And I agreed. I said I signed 6 months with you.
6 months. That was the initial contract.
That was 13 years ago.
So it's been 13 years since the first 6 months.
Yes.
So aside from the restaurants under the Bistro Group, where you work as corporate chef, you have your own restaurants like this, like Test Kitchen. Then you have Savage, and then you have Helm and
Ember and Juniper.
What is the common theme among all the different restaurants? Are they all very intimate? Because I know Helm is very intimate.
Helm is extremely intimate. Test Kitchen is a little bit more casual. Ember is very steak focused. We put a lot of emphasis on dry aged steaks. And Juniper, my newest one in Ortigas, it's casual in essence. It's familiar and wonderful gin and tonics. My favorite drink of choice. And it's being in the newest one, it's my I like to call it my most funnest one, because it's very laid back and casual. Very bright.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I just had to blurt that out. Okay, and so it's like having 5 different kids with different personalities, but then they're all sort of same DNA.
People ask me, what's your favorite restaurant? And my response to them always is that it's like choosing a favorite child. You secretly have one, but you don't publicly announce it.
So it's just up to other people to tell which one's your favorite.
I don't think it's right for them to assume that I have a favorite, actually. I want them to have their favorite within my group.
Okay.
And we're seeing that. We see guests come here to Test Kitchen that most likely have only been to my other restaurants once, but they feel so at home here that they see no need to go to another restaurant.
To try another one.
I have patrons in Helm that go to Helm because they're celebrating something so important to them that they make it a yearly event or biannually. Ember has their own little crowd that they really entertain, and it's very diversified. So everyone seems to find their own favorite within my own little group, and I like that.
It's not easy to become a chef.
No.
Right? I mean, people think if you love cooking, then be a chef.
Yeah.
But it's not that easy. So how did you become a chef?
So I was forced into it. No,
I wasn't expecting that answer.
I was. I have the opportunity of having both parents in the industry.
Okay. Are they both chefs?
Both of them were chefs. Yes. I put it in past tense because now they're both retired.
Okay.
But they, no matter what parent I was with, I was always in one of their restaurants. Yeah, in the kitchen. And I didn't love it at a young age. I saw how tired my parents were. It's long hours, it's high stress, high pressure. But then when I was finishing high school, I decided that I want to become an architect.
Oh, you wanted to be an architect?
Actually, I love architecture. I think it's one of my, it's my favorite pastime is just to go around looking at buildings. And realized that I had to be very good at maths enrolling into that. So I scrapped that.
So you did start.
I did start
studying architecture.
I did, yeah. And then I decided to enroll into culinary school instead because it was something that I was comfortable doing. I had already an idea about it. And I thought that perhaps I could make a career out of it. You know, I grew up, you know, at the time Jamie Oliver was very big on TV.
Okay.
And I enrolled into culinary school. I lasted 2 months and I walked out because everything they were teaching was through a book and I'd already know it, making emulsions and things like that. And I was able to skive without my mum knowing for about 2 to 3 weeks without her catching on that I wasn't going to school. I pretend to go to school, but then after she had left to the restaurant, I would go back in and just relax. She found out, obviously she wasn't very pleased with me, so she sent me off for apprenticeships around in the UK.
Okay.
And that's kind of where my love for fine dining and food really did start, working in some very prominent restaurants there. So
and how old were you at this time?
I was 15 when I got in.
15?
15.
Okay.
And I wasn't allowed to start working until I was 15, so I waited 3 weeks till I turned 16. And then started an apprenticeship. And it's been a constant movement from then on, learning from real professional chefs versus culinary school. And I'm not an advocate to tell people to do what I did. It's not an easy way to get through, but it's a very personal journey that I've enjoyed. Nowadays, when I see our kids come through school and come to work for us in our restaurants, they're much more grounded and much more knowledgeable. So stay in school, guys, you know, as much as possible, because that's going to give you the foundation of becoming a good cook.
So it was you who took after your parents. And do you see in your kids, either of them showing any inclination?
I don't want them to. So unlike my parents, I really want them to discover their own love. Not that my parents forced me into this, don't get me wrong. Obviously there was a bit of a, you should do this. But for my kids, I think being a chef nowadays is a lot more challenging. It's long hours, there's very little social life. I feel like you have to be a little bit mad to enjoy it. There has to be a screw loose there somewhere. And I want my kids to have a 9-to-5 job and enjoy life at the same time. And I want them to follow their own passion.
You know, all the different flavors are so interesting. I'm hard pressed to describe each and every one of them, because I'm not really good at describing food and flavors. But all I can say is that it's all delicious.
Yes.
This one is very interesting because, so like I said earlier, you know, I'm expecting steak, and we're so used to the American steak or
salt,
you know,
pepper,
salt and
seasoning.
pepper grilled. But then when I tasted the kimchi, and this is the kim. No, this is the
kimchi jam.
Okay.
And gochujang.
Oh, okay. So I thought it was rice.
Ah.
So I got a whole scoop, but it's so yummy.
Yes.
And all together it works. And this is the kind of dish that you don't want to leave anything out.
No.
You have to try everything. So I got even the leaf.
It's kind of putting a little bit of everything on every bite that you take.
Yes, you have to really swirl it in.
Yes.
Okay, so I still have to try the bread. But so one of the interviews that you did, because I'm talking about the dishes, you said that one customer had told you before that it's like all your restaurants, all your dishes are like different chapters of the same book.
Of the same book, yeah.
Is that a compliment? Do you take that as a compliment?
I think he defined it in a way that made sense. Because as a chef, we have an identity when we cook. Be it a particular way we use an ingredient, a particular cooking style, or the way we marry ingredients together. And I think he hit the nail on its head when he said that, because in essence, my restaurants are similar in a way we approach food. but because they belong in different chapters, they all have their own little identities at the same time. And I feel like, yeah, that kind of expresses it the best way possible without having to go into too many details about what's the difference between this one, and this one. Yeah, same book, different chapters.
That's very interesting. Were you surprised when he said that to you?
I was. I remember where I was, and I don't have a very good memory. I remember where I was, and he told me this, and I stopped and I thought about it for probably half a second, and I walked out to my terrace thinking about it, and I was like, gee, that is a really good way. I hope he hasn't copyrighted that. I'm going to use that in my press material.
And you've also been described as an alchemist, a chef who's an alchemist. Do you take this to as a compliment? I mean, do you like it when they say that you're an alchemist as a chef?
I think I used to take it as a compliment, because the ability to change textures and ingredients in unforeseeable ways or unexpected ways was something that I really prided myself on. Nowadays, we don't like to use as many chemicals and techniques. We want food to be food. We want it to be understandable, enjoyable, and delicious. Limiting the amount of technology and chemicals that we use doesn't no longer make me an alchemist, I think, because we're more natural now, the way we cook. You know, you'll know from my other restaurants where we use open fire, you know, a very primal way of cooking. There is zero technology in open fire cooking. It's very intuitional. You have to know where the hot spots are. You have to move things around constantly. You have to know when to flip it, when to take it off. And those are things that a book or a spec sheet can't teach you. Those are things that you have to learn by practicing and practicing and practicing. And I take a lot more pride in that style of cooking now than I do mixing xanthan, agar, you know, all these hydrocolloids together to change something that would be different.
Okay. It evolves also with time.
I think so.
With time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel that as well nowadays. The older I'm getting, the more mature I've become with food. I was cooking for some regular guests of mine the other day in the restaurant. We launched a new menu, so obviously high stress days with a new menu in Helm. But she was commenting on how evolved it had become from when I first started cooking in Helm. And I think that is probably a really good compliment because it shows that I'm aging.
Or just evolving.
Evolving, yeah.
Evolving, yeah.
Evolving
It's the different term for it.
Yeah.
So we have this segment that we like to call the Balikbayan box segment. I mean, we try to imagine like each guest, if they had a Balikbayan box that they could send to themselves, like, I don't know, in the future, what would you put in that Balikbayan box for yourself? Like ingredients or something for cooking?
I think nowadays in the Philippines, we have to really put emphasis on our local endemic and heirloom varieties of plants. Grains, more specifically. I think there has to be a high emphasis on preserving those for future generations. Nowadays, most large-scale agriculture wants, I'm going to use rice as an example, rice that grows fast, creates high yield, but lacks flavor and nuances. There's less emphasis on the heirloom varieties, and I would like to take as many of those as possible, put them in that Balikbayan box, and come back in, how long is this time capsule going to be for? 100 years?
100 years?
Let's say we need those varieties of heirloom grains to be there for our future generations because the nutrition is there, not there.
And we have it all here with us.
We do, and currently right now, even nowadays, we're losing supply of it because you know a lot of farmers need higher yields and faster turnarounds, but we're missing those beautiful grains.
All right, so now we know what's in your Balikbayan box. What we're curious about is what's on your playlist right now.
Oh my gosh! I was in Helm yesterday, and I was doing another tasting for an event, and just before the tasting, I was just doing my last little bit of prep that I needed to do, and the team had a playlist going. And then there's one song which came on. I have to get my phone out for this because I don't remember the name, but I saved it. And I was like,
liked it.
I liked it. And I was like, this is a really interesting track. And it's from 1996, right?
Okay,
So it's not even a new song. And it's from the Broski beat. And it was a song called Small Town Boy. And I was like, wow, I could really jive to this. So then, of course, once I hear the song, I'm like, okay, then I look at the album and things like that. Most of the time, my playlist is very acoustic in essence.
Okay.
Very calm, very
Jazz instrumental.
not necessarily, more like a Jose Gonzalez, or
Okay.
I also like a little bit of British acoustic folk. I also like music. I'm an old soul when it comes to music. I like my 60s rock. I'm very diversified when it comes to music. So I have one playlist on my Apple Music that's purely for drive, and it's just a mixed match of genres. But it's just something that I'll put on in the car and just put it on shuffle, and there's always a song there that I enjoy driving to.
Okay. Do you need music in the kitchen?
No,
Okay. It has to be quiet in the kitchen.
it has to be quiet.
Just all talking.
Not even talking.
Oh.
Complete
not
silence.
even. Oh, that's why you have silent kitchens.
Yes.
Oh, so
So-
interesting. Because on TV, when we see, culinary films, it's always, people
Screaming,
shouting
yeah.
over each other in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Very
I mean,
different.
kitchens used to be like that, but I feel we made this transition about a decade ago where I felt like it doesn't benefit the food, screaming or shouting. It doesn't add flavor.
It doesn't benefit the food.
It doesn't help the staff's morale. And I was getting stressed. What if we could take out all of the talking and make sure everybody knows exactly what to do at exactly the right time, with just one person controlling the tempo, much like an orchestra. And we transitioned into it, and it has been a lifesaver for me because I no longer get stressed at work. My team members no longer feel pressured, and we are still putting out the best food we possibly can.
I'm wondering if we can do a silent newsroom.
That would be amazing. We'll just sit there. Hi.
Just quiet. Oh, but you know what? Because they say that sometimes the emotions of the chef or the one preparing the food transfers to the dish.
Who wants an angry dish?
Yeah.
Right.
So you believe that?
Oh,
the
for
emotions
sure.
transfer to the food?
100%.
Okay.
You cook with love, it will taste delicious. You cook with anger, it will taste different.
Okay.
And you can give the same recipe to two different people in two emotional states, and no matter if they follow it line for line, because of their emotional state, that dish will taste different.
Well, this must have been cooked with a lot of peace and serenity and efficiency, because I do feel very relaxed. This is
Yes.
probably one of the most relaxed interviews I've done.
Fantastic.
Because we're eating as well.
Yes.
So we get to the part where we ask the questions that others are afraid to ask. This is Confessions of an Icon. First, Confession of an Icon. What tool in the kitchen are you afraid to use?
Afraid to use
Yes.
mandolin slicer. It's a very sharp blade that you can make very thin strips out of a vegetable, for example. The moment your hand slips, you can take off your thumb or your finger.
Yikes.
And it's happened in the past, not just to me, but to staff as well. You cannot lose concentration when you use it.
What's the worst injury you've ever encountered in the kitchen?
A couple of years ago, I burnt my finger on a spoon that was hanging in a pot. I didn't see it was under the flame, so when I picked up the spoon, as I would in this particular hand, it stuck to me because of the temperature of the spoon, and it burnt my whole thing. And I couldn't move my hand; it was stuck like that for the longest time until it had healed. Yeah, that was my
wow.
worst injury in the kitchen.
Yikes. So, as we speak, when was the last time you cooked?
Last night.
What did you cook?
We have a new menu in Helm, which is inspired actually by the wizardly world of Harry Potter. So it's a very whimsical menu.
Okay.
The very last thing that I cooked was our dessert, which was hazelnut praline, financier, fermented pineapple, dark chocolate cremeux, and creme brulee espuma.
Oh,
That was the last thing I cooked.
Can you share with us one secret hack that you like to use in the kitchen?
A secret hack. Masking tape is your friend. Yeah.
Okay, in
For
terms
sure.
of...
In terms of labeling, in terms of making sure everything's kept well organized. Organization is the key, and masking tape is great. So you can mark out your tables on where particular things have to be. And at the end of the service, you can take this masking tape, there's no damage to anything, and then you can realign it to your organization for the evening service and things like that.
Because you do have to put everything in a line,
Everything in
right?
its right place.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, so you like to keep your kitchen very clean and organized.
So my partner will disagree. She thinks that I'm a very messy person. But when it comes to my work ethic, I think a clean kitchen is a clean mind. So once you know where everything has got to be at an arm's distance. It makes life so much easier.
What's one ingredient that you really like to use?
Salt.
For everything.
Well, I think salt is very versatile. I say that when we've got our curing room in front of us, salt is one of the main ingredients that cure meats. And I think it's also a wonderful flavor enhancer.
What is the most extreme thing you ever did to acquire a certain ingredient?
I waited 9 months for a lamb to cure.
But you were the one curing the lamb.
Yes.
Okay, but you had to wait 9 months.
I had to
that's a
lovingly look at
long
it every
time.
single day until I could use it. And that was the very first time we started curing. And, it ended up into becoming one of the processes that we most enjoy doing ourselves now. Yeah, but waiting that
9
time,
months is a long wait.
not knowing
Yeah.
how it's going to turn out, yes.
Okay, but do you prefer baking or cooking?
Cooking,
Hands down cooking.
yeah, without a doubt.
Okay. But
Can
you've done both.
Oh yeah. I mean, I have a bakery. I love making bread. I think that's therapy for me because it's very time consuming and methodical. But given the choice, I will go cooking every single time. I'm not a big fan of making desserts.
Okay. Is it easier to cook for your family or for
No, harder
customers?
to cook. Easier to cook for my customers than my family. Yeah, much easier. Well, I don't cook at home. You know.
Okay.
Oh, I cook 3 times a year. Christmas on the 24th, Christmas on the 25th, and New Year's Eve. Those are the 3 times I cook at home.
And that's the only time they get to taste your food.
That's the only time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the worst reaction you've ever had to your food? Is it from your family, from your customers?
Most likely my son. He's got no filter. He doesn't mind saying, I don't like this.
Simple as that.
Yeah, as simple as that.
And you take that constructively.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Actually, that hurts more than my customers saying something about my food. Yeah.
Chef Josh, thank you so much
Absolute
for
pleasure.
spending time with us and indulging us with your one meal for today.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's been an
Thank
absolute
you,
pleasure,
thank you.
Pia. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and download Power Talks with Pia Arcangel on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, GMA Integrated News streaming platforms, or wherever you listen. See you at the next episode.